The 2022 NFL Draft may be over, but Kansas City is on the clock for 2023. The city will host the NFL Draft a year from now.
You know, even if you don't care about the draft itself, no worries, because the impact of this huge event coming to the Metro impacts everyone.
Look at past drafts. Each former host city saw an economic boost. Chicago reported around $44 million in direct spending by attendees during each of its drafts.
Philadelphia reporting $56 million, $74 million for the Arlington-Dallas area, and get this, $130 million in Nashville.
Cleveland didn't report its direct spending figures, but overall economic impact was reduced because of the pandemic. You know, putting on a massive event like the NFL Draft will take a lot of collaboration.
So, Dia, you know, earlier we had a roundtable discussion with some of the key players in this effort. We're talking Kansas City Mayor Quinton Lucas, President of the Kansas City Sports Commission, Kathy Nelson, and Visit KC as well, and President of the Chiefs, Mark Donovan.
We talked about so many things. Tonight, they explained the process of getting the draft to come here. First of all, thank you all for coming together, talking us through one of the things that I'm most excited about here in Kansas City, hosting an NFL draft. I'm going to start with you, Kathy, because we have had, I don't know how many conversations just about, okay, is Kansas City interested? Is Kansas City going to bid? And every step of the way, we've gotten a chance to connect. Talk to me about that process, bidding for the NFL Draft, because we've lost out before, right?
In a way, yes. Our first opportunity was not successful. Is that fair?
That's fair to say.
Okay. But then after that, I think it was all Kansas City, and that was about 5 years ago when we were awarded the draft, and not hard to believe, 5 years ago. But the process was just a lot of relationship building, and then we were in New York once to present in person, and then they were here for a site visit, and again, that's been quite a few years ago.
What was it like when you guys found out that you won? Mark?
It's a great day. Great day for Kansas City. You know, great day for what Kathy was saying about the effort. I mean, you got to remember this is a long process and it's a competitive process. So we're excited to be in New York. We're excited to present as a team. Really, it was our opportunity to talk about how we all work really well together and what a special place this is. So it was exciting.
Mayor, well, they talked about 5 years out, so this kind of predates your term as mayor, however you're on city council. How were you in all this, involved in all this, and what was it like when you heard?
You know, usually it's Kathy letting us know what's coming.
Go ahead.
And y'all need to make sure you have everything in line. The money needs to be lined up in the right places. But, you know, I think more than anything, this is a sign not just of a short-term effort, but when you look at things like the new airport terminal, things like our investments in some of these facilities, the work that the Hunt family and the Chiefs have done, and so many others to build up Kansas City, the brand of our city, nationally and globally. I think it's really just a recognition of the work that we've done in building a better city and a better region each and every day. And so I was excited as a councilman to see it. As a mayor, we're making sure that we still have all the details in line, and there's a lot of work to do between now and then, but I'm looking forward to a great event.
You know, when you talk about putting on an NFL Draft, I, too, believe that Kathy does more work than everybody else, but, it has to be tough to coordinate all of these different elements, and kind of as we peeled back little things like making sure the transportation is right, the hotels, advertising for Kansas City. What was the hardest part during that portion of, getting ready?
I think for me personally, when we were in New York, there were 25, 27 people in the room, and it was Mark, myself, and then our previous city manager, Troy Schulte. And I asked, you know, how many of you have been to Kansas City, assuming they all had, and 2 people raised their hand.
Wow.
That was probably, for me, a gut check of not only do we need to sell what we have come to the table with, but we also need to explain our city. We're not New York, we're not LA. And I think that the Chiefs, what they bring to the table and the passion and our fan kingdom and everything else is one thing, but for them never to have physically been to our city, that was the hardest thing, was then to explain when you're in New York what our city is like.
Yeah, I would just jump on that and say that it was really an interesting experience for me because I came from that world. I actually worked in that office. So it was interesting to see Kathy and Troy and the team be introduced to the NFL and how we do things. And 25 people in a room that you're presenting to, and knowing that 5 other clubs are coming in after you and they're making the same presentation, trying to win the same bid. So it was cool to see. It was really special to be part of the team that got to sell Kansas City. and got to introduce Kansas City in a lot of ways.
So what were those selling points? I mean, a lot of folks just think we're Cal's Barbecue and Patrick Mahomes.
So I think the biggest point we were trying to make at that meeting was just how we do things. Like, everyone locks arms, we all come together, and we were going to make the draft the biggest event that Kansas City has ever seen and really celebrate that.